The Paritta means reciting certain verses and scriptures of Buddhist teachings in order of protection or defense from misfortune or any danger when needed. Sometimes they are word of Satya Kriya, also known as Satya Kriya or Satyadhisthana. It's kind of a sincere declaration of truth expressed in ritual speech. These can be found in many religions in many forms, but most often found in Buddhism and Hinduism. It can be a word with regard to one's own virtue or with regards to a certain fact of noble Dhamma or noble ones, followed by command or willpower. Such a statement is believed to affect a wonder-working power that can benefit oneself and others, mostly depending on the truthfulness of the person making the statement. So, in here, we are about to discover the root story of famous Angulimala Paritta in Buddhism, which commonly known as the word of blessings from noble Arhat Angulimala to the pregnant women for them to have a peaceful childbirth.
Parittang yang banantass nisinnattana dovanang udakampi vinaseti sabbameva parissayang sottina gabba vuttanang Yancha sadeti tankane teras Angulimalas lokanatena basitang kappatai mahatejang parittang tan banamahe Yatohang bagini ariyaya jatiya jato nabijanami sanchicca panang jivitavoro peta tena sanchena sottite hotu Sotti gabbasati.
Many who are aware of the Buddhism or Buddhist teachings around the world are familiar with the name of Angulimala. But if you are still not aware of the tale, here it is in brief. The tale of Angulimala is so popular among many as the tale of Sammasambuddha and the bloodthirsty murderer who will later become an arhat. If we revisit the tale briefly in here, it would be like this. Angulimala was born with the name Ahimsaka, which means the innocent one. But it also said when he was born, all the swords and other weapons were shining brightly for a few moments as a sign of a birth of a vicious murderer. Ahimsaka grew up to be an intelligent young man, and during his studies, he became the favorite student of his teacher. However, Out of jealousy, fellow students set up the teacher against him. Falling for the traps of other students, the teacher wanted to get rid of Ahimsaka, so the teacher sends him on a deadly mission to kill thousands of humans. The teacher said that would be his payback for the teacher to complete his studies. By trying to accomplish this mission, Ahimsaka became a cruel and furious killer. He killed many, and to keep the count of his killing, he cut a finger from those one he killed and made a garland of fingers. That's how he was popular as the Angulimala, the person who is wearing a garland of fingers. But soon he realized that fingers can't be kept long, as they become rotten quickly. So he decided to kill the thousands of people within 1 or 2 days. The news of this killer spread so fast, causing entire village to immigrate with fear. Eventually, this caused the king to send an army to catch the killer too. Meanwhile, Angulimala's mother, by knowing the news of king trying to capture her son, attempted to interfere. So, she went looking for him to pass the news. By the time Angulimala completed 999 killings and only one more killing was needed, and mother was on her way to him. By that time, Sammasambuddha was also checking on whom to help on that day through meditation, and noticed Angulimala was about to kill his mother and going to close his ability of becoming a noble one in this birth. So Sammasambuddha manages to prevent his action of killing his mother, which will be one of the 5 highest sins of all time, and used magical powers and noble teachings to bring Angulimala to the right path. As a very smart student, Angulimala was quick to realize the teachings of Sammasambuddha and became a stream enterer, a Sowan disciple. After having this new birth as a noble disciple of Sammasambuddha, he became a monk by surprising the king and everyone else. As a smart student, Angulimala Bhikkhu was also a good observer. So, one day, he said the Blessed One about an incident which occurs him on his way of alms round. He said that he has encountered a woman who was suffering from childbirth, and he felt on seeing her how tormented are living beings. How tormented are living beings. Angulimala, who used to be a vicious killer without noticing his victim's suffering, is now deeply moved by the sight of a pregnant woman and her baby in danger. As you can see, this is the power of realization of a noble Dhamma. But Sammasambuddha knew that people are still angry at Angulimala for what he had done. Generally, people with no understanding of noble Dhamma finds hard to forgive for such vicious act. So then, Sammasambuddha advises Bhikkhu Angulimala to help that woman to have a peaceful childbirth. The Blessed One advised him to go to that woman and say this to her: Yato hang bhagini jato nabi janami sangchikcha panang jivita voropeta. Tena saccena sotti te hotu, sotti ghabba sahati. Which means, Sister, since I was born, I do not recall intentionally killing a living being. By this truth, may you be well. May the delivery of your child be peaceful. Angulimala couldn't understand the meaning of the term "since I was born" part said by the Sammasambuddha. So, he felt that it meant the normal birth of him as Ahimsaka, and he was hesitated to say so as it wasn't the truth. And also, Even though the Blessed One could have said it correctly at once, Sambuddha said like this to tune the truthfulness of Angulimala, so he could dive within himself and search for his truth. As these are the word of truth, that was highly important. So he looked into himself and said, "My Lord, it would be not true, as I killed many beings intentionally since my birth." Then the Blessed One fine-tuned the sentence so that Bhikkhu Angulimala could understand the deep meaning as well as he could confidently say the word of truth. Then in that case, Angulimala, go to that woman and say to her, "Yato hang bhagini, ariyaya jatiyo jato, nabhijanami sanchicca panang jivita oropeta. Tena saccena sotti te hotu, sotti gabbassati." Sister, since I was born in this noble Arya birth, I do not recall intentionally killing a living being. By this truth, may you be well, may the delivery of your child be peaceful. Then Bhikkhu Angulimala understood the deep meaning and helped the woman to have a peaceful childbirth with the power of his word of truth. After that, Bhikkhu Angulimala was hurried to meditate and soon became an awakened one. But still the villagers were angry and never gave a pleasing welcome when he visited for his alms round. They hit him by stones and most of the time came back with wounds. But Sambuddha said those wounds are nothing compared to the effect he was bound in hell realm, and how lucky he was to cease all kind of suffering and end the existence by becoming an arhat. So, now you know the story behind the Angulimala Paritta in brief. Hope you understood the power of word of truth and how can being honest bring the best outcome for all beings. The noble Dhamma have the power of changing a defiled mind into a mind with no defilements at all. It has the power of bring out the nobleness out of you and me. No matter what we do with our defiled minds, if we are capable enough to surrender ourselves to the noble ones by listening to their noble words and guidance, we could be better human beings. We could be noble ones like great Arhat Angulimala. So that's why, before recite the words of truth of noble Arhat Angulimala, the Paritta begins with its power and nobility. So, my dear Dhamma friends, as a person whom in touch with Nirvana Dhamma Explanations, you already know what our main focus should be as human beings. It's true that we use these noble words to heal the people externally and temporarily. Like we can use these words of truth to ease the pain of a pregnant woman in her childbirth. But when Bhikkhu Angulimala encountered the pregnant woman with pains, he felt this: how tormented are living beings. How tormented are living beings. It is also true that many of the living beings doesn't care about finding the eternal truth or doesn't have any interest on liberation. As long as we are in this existence, play the role of a vicious murderer like Angulimala. We play the role of pregnant woman in pain. We play the role of child who comes to the world by going through loads of pains. We play the role of ahimsaka and the bright student who can be a victim of others' jealousy. We play the role of those jealousy ones. We play the role of victims who got killed by Angulimala. We play the role of mother of a murderous son who suffers in every minute by thinking of his well-being. We play the role of king who was fear at the same time wanted to get rid of killers. We play the role of the teacher who fall into the trap of the other students. We play the role of the teacher who can be destroy the life of a student like Ahimsaka. We play the role of people who hit the noble ones because of anger. We play the role of people who has the unforgiving nature, etc., etc. Can you sense the limitless sufferings we go through by each and every role we play? We seek for temporary peace even through these Paritta chantings of noble ones. We seek for the protection and defense from the word of truth of these noble ones. But each time we forget or we deliberately slipping from the idea of becoming a noble one by ending all these roles. So, if you are wise enough, you will see that liberation is the only cure. It is the only peace. It is the only solution for all kind of dangers. It is the only protection and permanent solution. So let's be wise and let's use these words of wise ones wisely. Let's seek for the real protection without a delay. May all the newborn children find ultimate purpose of being born as a human. May all the mothers who donated their womb to a new being find the eternal path of liberation. May all the fathers who provide the protection to their families find the eternal protection from this vicious cycle of samsara, the existence. May all beings find the noble Dhamma and become a noble one without being delayed. Have a blessed time, dear Dhamma friends, as always with loads of love and blessing.